So let's talk about something that's on a lot of our minds: how to look out for our aging parents, especially when it comes to their finances. Today, we're going to dive into a really smart strategy, one that uses a little known IRS tool to create a financial safety net without, and this is key, without taking away their independence.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It's such a delicate balance. You want to help, you want to make sure bills are paid and nothing important gets missed, but at the same time, you have to respect their autonomy. So, how do you thread that needle? How do you offer support without stepping in and taking control?
Okay, here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the problem itself, what we're calling the elder finance dilemma. Then, we'll introduce this idea of being a sentinel instead of a representative. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the specific form and how the IRS handles it, look at the tools you get, and then, the best part, we'll walk through some really practical protection strategies.
Right, so let's start with section 1, the elder finance dilemma. This is all about a challenge that honestly, more and more of us are facing every single year. The reality is, as our parents get older, just keeping track of complex financial stuff like taxes can get a lot harder. A simple deadline might slip by, and suddenly there are penalties, interest, and a whole lot of stress that nobody needs. The goal here isn't to swoop in and take over their checkbook. It's about finding a way to just keep an eye on things, to observe from a distance so you can offer a gentle nudge or a helping hand if it's needed. It's about peace of mind for them and for you.
So what's the solution to this dilemma? Well, we call it the Sentinel Strategy. And the whole thing is built around one single, incredibly useful IRS form.
And here it is, IRS Form 8821, the Tax Information Authorization. This form is the absolute core of the strategy. Think of it as giving someone read-only access to your IRS account. The person you designate, the Sentinel, can look at tax records and, critically, get copies of any official mail from the IRS. But, and this is the most important part, they can't speak for you, they can't make changes, they can't act on your behalf. They can only see.
Okay, this chart really breaks it down for us. With Form 8821, the authority is for inspection only. It's look but don't touch. That means your liability exposure is super low, and your parent can appoint basically anyone they trust. Now, compare that to the other form, the 2848, which is a power of attorney. That gives full-blown representation, which carries high potential liability. I mean, if you give bad advice, that could be on you, and it's generally reserved for licensed pros like CPAs or tax attorneys. And that's exactly why we call Form 8221 the Goldilocks solution. It's not too much power, and it's not too little. It's just right. It gives you just enough access to spot a problem, like, say, a missed payment or an unfiled return, without saddling you with all the legal and financial risks that come with being a full representative. All right, now let's pull back the curtain a little bit and look at how this actually works on the inside, in the IRS's own system. It all boils down to something called the Centralized Authorization File, or CAF. You can just think of the CAF as the IRS's giant digital brain. It's the master database that keeps track of who is allowed to see what tax information for whom. So when that Form 8821 gets filed, your name gets logged in the CAF, so any IRS agent can immediately confirm you have permission to view your parent's record. And filling out the form itself? It's actually pretty simple. You've got the taxpayer info, that's your parent, the appointee info, that's you, the Sentinel. Then you specify what you need access to, like Form 1040 for the years 2024 through 2026. But the absolute game changer, the most powerful feature in this whole strategy, is a simple little checkbox on line 2. You check that box, and the IRS will automatically mail you a copy of every single notice they send your parent. That right there is your early warning system. Getting the form to the IRS is also pretty flexible. You can still do it the old-fashioned way, mail or fax, but honestly, the IRS has a secure online portal now at IRS.gov/submit8821. This is, hands down, the fastest and most reliable way to get it processed and logged into that CAF system we just talked about. Okay, so the form is filed, it's active in the system. Now what? What can you actually do with this access? Well, this is where your Sentinel's Toolkit comes in. You basically get two incredibly powerful sources of information: transcripts and notices. IRS transcripts are like the behind-the-scenes story of a tax account. A return transcript confirms what was filed. The account transcript shows all the activity since then: payments made, penalties added, you name it. And the wage and income transcript shows all the data the IRS gets from employers and banks. Put them all together, and you have a crystal clear picture to make sure everything lines up and there are no surprises. But remember that checkbox?
The real magic is getting those duplicate notices. Think about it. A CP-14, that first notice saying money is owed, might get lost in a pile of mail or just cause confusion for your parent. But when a copy shows up at your house, you can make a calm phone call and figure it out. A CP-2000 means the income reported doesn't match IRS records, and a CP-01A is a notice with a new ID protection PIN that is so easy to misplace, and you can't file without it. Having that backup is an absolute lifesaver.
Okay, so let's put it all together. This is where the theory becomes a seriously powerful, real-world tool. Let's walk through a few scenarios where this Sentinel strategy really shines.
Picture this. Your mom gets one of those terrifying phone calls from a scammer pretending to be the IRS, demanding money immediately. It's designed to create panic, but you've set up a plan. Her only job is to hang up and call you. That's it. Then you, the Sentinel, call the actual IRS. Using your 8821 authorization, you can ask the agent about her account. Within minutes, you confirm she owes nothing. You've just exposed the scam and turned a moment of sheer panic into one of relief. You essentially become her human firewall.
This strategy can also provide some really important, albeit subtle, insights. Let's say your dad has made quarterly estimated tax payments like clockwork for 30 years. Then, one quarter, a notice shows up saying he missed one. That missed payment could be a canary in the coal mine. It might be the very first sign that he's starting to struggle with keeping track of these complex details, which lets you start a conversation about getting more help, long before a small issue becomes a big one.
Now, this is super important, so listen up. This is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. The IRS generally limits these authorizations to the current year plus 3 future years. So you have to create a reminder for yourself, a tickler system, to file a new Form 8821 every few years. If you forget, you create a dark period where you suddenly have no visibility, and that could be right when your parent needs you the most.
And really, that's what this all comes down to. It's about visibility. The world of tax compliance can feel so confusing and opaque. Just having the ability to see a potential storm on the horizon, to spot a problem when it's small, that is what makes the difference between a minor manageable task and a full-blown financial catastrophe. At the end of the day, this strategy is all about providing a powerful safety net while preserving the dignity and autonomy of the people we love. It's a shift from reactive crisis management to proactive, thoughtful care, which really just leaves one final question for you to think about. Is it time for your family to post a Sentinel?